Welcome, sports bettors, at BetRepublic.com. I'm your host, Sonny Palermo. Today, we're going to do some quick hits on the two big NCAA games this weekend and the two big NFL games. Starting off with Ohio State, number 15, at number 11, Penn State. You know, last year, these two played in Columbus, Ohio, 13-6 Penn State victory. This year, they're both one game behind Iowa. Penn State's already lost to Iowa, so Penn State loses here. Kiss off the Rose Bowl, kiss off the Big Ten championship. Even if they win, it's going to be difficult. Ohio State, though, has their own fate in their hands. They win here, and then they beat Iowa. Big Ten is theirs. Now, these are the same coaches, same quarterbacks, same teams basically, and the same game plan as last year. What you're going to see is another physical game with two teams playing low-risk offense, wait for the other team to make a mistake and capitalize on it, and it should be another low-scoring, tight game decided by a field goal late. And that's key because Ohio State's place kicker is out. Injured last week, out this game. Puts more pressure on their offense to try and produce in the red zone, which gives Penn State more opportunities to shut them down, I think, because I like Penn State's defense a little better. Either way, I don't need to call the winner here. The books have set this number at 40. If I had to, with a 13-6 score last year, same quarterback, same coaches, same game philosophy, I think you're going to see the same type of game here. Tight, low-scoring, under 40 would be my opinion on this one. Next up, the one I'm really looking forward to, LSU, Alabama. I've watched number 9 LSU at number 3 Alabama. I've watched both these teams a couple of times this year. That 7.5 is a lot. Bama hasn't looked too pretty this year, but as I said, I've got a good look at both of these teams here. Now, both play solid defense. Of course, LSU's always going to play solid D. The winner here in line for the national title. Bama can't afford to go one loss. They're undefeated at 8-0, and they're still getting short shrift from the committee. They can't afford to lose here. LSU, though, with a win, he had a chance maybe to step up there and be considered for it. But right now, Bama in the driver's seat, I would say. Again, both have a solid defense. Bama a little bit better, especially against the run. And that's going to matter here. They are second in the nation, giving up only 65 yards per game. What that means, they're going to stop LSU's run, and they're going to force sophomore quarterback Jordan Jefferson to have to beat them. Jefferson, a game manager, not a playmaker. This puts him in a bad position. Last year, Bama went into the swamp at night and beat these guys at home in OT, 27-21. Difficult to win in the swamp, especially in those night games. LSU always seems to pick those up. Bama did it last year. Again, some of the same components playing for these guys this year. Bama not looking pretty, like I said. Wins against South Carolina, the Kentucky game, the Tennessee game last week, which took a blocked field goal for them to get out of there with a win. They're not winning pretty, but they are winning. I think they're just too big on the offensive line, too good on defense. I think they'll shut down that run game. I don't think Jefferson will beat them. I would get that hook off of there. I hate to lay that many because this should be a tight matchup, but I like Bama to win it. Let's go to the pros. First up, we got Dallas at Philadelphia. Two teams tied up top of the NFC East with the Giants right there also. Look at the recent history. Last year, Philly loses 37-41 in Dallas. But if you remember this one, final game of the season, Dallas, all you got to do is win. Playoffs are theirs. Philly had to win and get help from some other teams. Dallas controlled their fate. Final game of the season, what happened? Philadelphia. Was it close? 44-6. No, wasn't close. This year, Philadelphia has probably the fastest team I've seen them with in years. They certainly have a team that the math can't lie. They've scored more points than any other Andy Reid team. Now, I look back at that game last year, and it was a typical game where the money's on the table and Romo can't pick it up. Romo in that game last year, 5 interceptions. And Philly's defense had 2 fumbles, ran back for a quick 7. Even if you took those out, though, it was still a 30-6 whooping from the Eagles onto the Cowboys' hide. I got to say, Romo hasn't had an interception in 3 games. Can you say due? 'Cause that's what I'm saying. Way overdue. This isn't Atlanta at home. This certainly ain't the Seattle Seahawks. Again, this Eagle team is scoring more points for Reid than any other team he's had. One other thing I don't like about Dallas this week, if you can't tell by the way I'm talking, yeah, I'm leaning Philadelphia, and I'm leaning them big, only laying 3 at home. Distractions in the locker room, with the press, typical crap, and they're in first place. This is definitely not that there's ever a time to be calling out your teammates in the press, but wide receiver Roy Williams, their number 1 wide receiver, spoke out this week saying that him and Romo are not connecting. Here's his quote on number 2 receiver Miles Austin. He gets balls thrown correctly his way. I'm having to jump and stretch and fall. Shades of T.O., huh? Here's my advice. Quit whining, sucky baby. You're in first place, and quit causing distractions that take away the focus from where it should be on the game, on the field, coming up this Sunday at Philly. I like Philly in this one, especially with the hot hand after that Giant win last week. Last matchup, Monday nighter, Pittsburgh and Denver. Pittsburgh, a 3-point road favorite. The bloom is off the rose. The bookmakers and the public have jumped off that Denver bandwagon. Here's Denver at 6-1, 6-1 team off their first loss at home against a 5-2 team. And they're not only a home dog, you're getting a full field goal with them. Joe Public's picks on this, with that 3-point line, road favorite, 72% of the money coming on Pittsburgh, only 28 on Denver. The books, no respect for Denver, making them a full field goal underdog at home with a 6-1 record. Maybe with good reason, though, because that one loss against Baltimore, they got undressed 30-7. They looked horrible. Second half, when the money was on the line, Baltimore, who's looked pretty mediocre most of this year, kicked their butts. So I'd have to say my opinion in this one, Pittsburgh needs it more. Cincinnati's in first place. Baltimore's 1 game behind them. Denver's 2 up on San Diego, and San Diego has to go in and play the Giants, who, yes, they've lost 3 straight, but Giants have won like 6 or 7 straight versus the AFC. Manning's hurting his foot, but I think the Giants will get back on track. Denver really doesn't need this with that 6-1 record. They're already 2 games up on San Diego. Much more urgency on the Pittsburgh side, and Pittsburgh's off of a bye. I'd like Pittsburgh in this one, laying the 3. I'm still not a big believer. I didn't believe in the Jets when they were 3-0. I'm not believing in the Broncos when they were 6-0. I think they go like the Jets. They had a nice little streak. Now they're going to go down a few games. Those are my picks. Those are the quick hits. BetRepublic.com. We'll see you over at the website. Remember, join us every Sunday. We give you every game from coast to coast, sides and totals, opinions from a bettor's point of view. We'll also have our system plays up. Check you out, BetRepublic.com. See you there.